This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
To talk about the future, and he's starting to talk about it differently than he used to. He was asked about the potential of playing for another team as he enters this contract year, and here is what he said.
About the future at times, and as I said, I looked up, and as I said, all great quarterbacks, and it's honestly a lot of quarterbacks that have done that, and that's just the business and the nature of this game, and that's me not being naive to that and to those potentials. And as I said, if something like that happens, I'll be most certainly ready for it. I'm here in training camp and focused on this year. I'm on a contract for this year, and that's all I really care about. I get to play with these guys, get to play for a team that I love, and that's where my focus lies.
Okay, so once again, I feel the need to say this. Dak Prescott has said exactly the right thing in basically every circumstance that he has been asked a question from the moment he became this team's starting quarterback, which happened when he was a rookie. So those are all exactly the right things for him to say. But when you hear him talking about a future on other teams, when you hear him thinking, you know that he's thinking about, well, Aaron Rodgers is on another team, and Brett Favre finished on another team, and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and all those guys. I mean, how does a Cowboy fan feel when they hear Dak already with one eye on a different future?
Well, I'm not sure how they feel because Cowboy fans get in their feelings about what Dak does in the playoffs, but play a season without him. Play a season trying to figure out who your quarterback is, and you find yourself not making the playoffs, and things are going abysmal, and guys don't want to come play in Dallas because they don't have a quarterback that they feel like they can win with. Here's the problem. Here's the issue. And, G, we talked about this. It goes back to 5 years ago when they should have got a deal done earlier with Dak Prescott. Now you find yourself in this situation. And when I'm listening to Dak Prescott personally, the company guy stuff is over. It's done. We start talking about him coming out of his shell this year, saying things, and obviously he's a very pronounced guy. But Dak, to me, it felt like he turned a corner as opposed to trying to do everything right and just start saying what the truth is. And the truth is, he knows that I have all the leverage in the world. I'm not going to sit here and play games with Jerry and Stephen Jones. I know that I may be somewhere else, and somewhere else is probably going to give me $60 million a year playing quarterback.
Yeah, somewhere else or there. Someone's going to. So, Teddy, we had a good conversation about this earlier this morning. What is your perspective on how you see this with Dallas, with Dak, and with the way the owner views the situation?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I like this Dak. I like this Dak just realizing how to play the game also. I mean, saying the right things in terms of being the team leader, like you're saying, Greeny, and which Marcus is saying also. But still, now it's like, hey, man, if you guys don't need me and you want me to move on, I'm ready to do that too. That shows a lot of maturity. That shows a lot of, I don't care. But then on the flip side, Jerry Jones may be saying, I want to see a motivated Dak. Maybe that'll change things because I'm tired of paying players for just outstanding performance when I want to get to NFC Championship games and Super Bowls, and that hasn't been happening. So how do I get all three of these guys paid, or which one do I let play under a little bit of pressure and upset him just a little because these quarterbacks are sensitive. These quarterbacks know that there's only 32 of them in the entire world that are starting quarterbacks, and maybe if you get them a little motivated, you get an MVP performance out of Dak because I think he's absolutely capable of doing that.
Teddy
so
getting here now.
Both sides are playing the game here. Jerry wants to get him paid, but maybe he wants to see what he's like when he doesn't. And then Dak saying, if you want to, man, I'm going to be fine because I know I'm good. I love it.
Does it make sense to you?
Swagoo,
I mean, the strategy here for Jerry. See, here's how I interpret this, Marcus. You tell me if I'm missing this. You're much closer to it than I am. Jerry kept saying, I'm all in. And we all took that to mean all in like the Jets are all in. They're going to sign this guy and that guy and do everything they can and mortgage the future. And then he came into the beginning of camp and he had his little State of the Team address. And I realized what he means by all in is it's all or nothing. Guys, this is on you. Mike McCarthy, get it done now or you're done. Dak Prescott, get it done now, or I'm going to find someone else who I think can. I think
you've been doing it for the last 30 years. You've been able to do it for the last 30 years.
That we should have done more than this. I'm giving you one more year to show me.
Yeah, all that sound good. But here's what pisses me off so much about this conversation.
Let's go.
Can you look at your next door neighbor in your division?
Which one?
The Philadelphia Eagles and realize what they've done to actually try to go win Super Bowls and win one? Can you take a template from the team in Kansas City? Can you take a template from the team in Cincinnati when they realized that they had a quarterback that could play at a high level? Jerry has done nothing in the semblance of what teams have done that we've seen play in NFC championships and Super Bowls. Nothing.
Jerry Jones has never gone through a breakup.
Never.
Hembo pointed this out to me. Tony Romo, Troy Aikman, Danny White, Roger Staubach, Don Meredith. Now, not all those are Jerry Jones guys. All of them. Not one of those Cowboys quarterback ever played for another team.
Nope.
Jerry Jones has never gone through this. And Dak has two forms of leverage that we don't talk about enough. He's got money in the bank, first of all, career earnings of $160 million. He is not playing from the desperate point of trying to make life changes. He's there, right? And the other form of leverage is the acceptance, something that Tom Brady had to go through when he was in New England, the acceptance of playing somewhere else. Dak Prescott saying that, he's there.
He's there.
Man, listen, G, I told you earlier. I said the Oakland Raiders are going to pay Dak $60 million to come play quarterback for them. And he's going to walk into a situation that may be a newfound. Look, we never have a conversation about Dak being a good quarterback. It's always about the playoffs. Every team that's quarterback hungry knows that they have a guy that can play at a very high level in Dak Prescott. And I know we get so caught up in the right now. Don't you ever get it twisted. Dak Prescott will be the shining star of free agency for a number of teams. You think if Pittsburgh's situation don't work out, they wouldn't want Dak Prescott to be the quarterback? You think if Oakland, if they knew he was going to be a free agency, they wouldn't already get ready for him to show up?
You want me to freak you out? I want you to see Jerry Jones's face when, hold on one second, Teddy, when the Giants hire Bill Belichick and sign Dak Prescott. Talk to me about that.
I love this conversation.
You were nodding along. Go ahead, go.
Shoot, Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles, whatever it may be, where you send Dak Prescott is you're not going to win with a team that the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Jerry Jones has put together, you know, I don't want to say a championship team, but that roster is pretty darn good, and they've been in the games that have been meaningful in the last few years. Jerry hasn't failed. The players have failed. The coaches have failed. Jerry's paid all that money. Jeff talks about all the money that Dak has in the bank. You got all the money in the bank, but you got no rings in your closet because you can't get it done. I mean, Jerry is looking at all this and saying, I keep paying. I keep putting together all these teams, but when it comes down to it, we can't get it done. So
this shit's firing me up, man. I'm excited.
Is that all I do? Just keep paying and paying and paying these guys because maybe they'll get it done one day while I just keep paying non-championship players for non-championship play when all I want is to win the Super Bowl, but they can't get it done.
That's all I want.
He makes a good point.
I love it.
And the fact that he is in the unique position of not only being the owner, but the general manager, so the one who actually assembled the rosters, those failures become, they reflect on him in ways he doesn't like also. Marcus, it does make some sense.
It's so juicy.
It does.
Juicy.
It's so good.
I understand what Teddy is saying.
Give it to him, Swagoo.
I understand what Teddy is saying. The problem is no one has won a Super Bowl the way that Jerry Jones constructs a roster. Well, I don't care who you are or what you say. No one has done it. Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl because they made a lot of free agent pickups.
They did.
Right.
The Kansas City Chiefs have been winning Super Bowls
they went to
because
the Super Bowl because they made plays when they had to make plays.
You don't think how
when they had the players to make the plays, Teddy? When they had the players to,
you don't think that mattered, Teddy? You don't think it mattered that they went and got A.J. Brown?
The sacks were made in the game.
So if we're saying
the plays were made in the games,
saying that players are the reason that teams go to NFC championships and AFC championships and Super Bowls, you telling me Dallas has been better than the teams in the NFC that have went there? Because coincidentally, the teams in the NFC that have been to the Super Bowl, they make free agent moves. Trent Williams going to San Francisco put them over a hump. It put them over a hump. See, Christian McCaffrey, after a team went to the Super Bowl, was traded to San Francisco for them to continue to try to go to the Super Bowl. Just give me one move that Dallas has made
just
like
one
that.
More.
Just name me one that they've made like that.
Do you keep? Oh, all right, but here's one you don't. You keep paying the players that can't get it done.
Paying who? All you've paid in Dallas is DeMarcus Lawrence, Trayvon Diggs, Zach Martin years ago, and Dak.
I think this is what he said to Teddy Bruschi.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck-ups to shut.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Oh, we're already open for business here. I'm excited. I am happy. I just don't know what to do, because this time, the day after tomorrow, we will be in California. It was great. It was great today. Before I get into it, let me say one of the greatest things out there is you guys. The fact that we got Ginger Rogers, shout out to Ginger Rogers, a Seattle Seahawk fan in the house and supporting the channel the way that she does, a channel member. Shout out to you and thanks. You know, it's actually great, because what I hope we can have happen here in the future is, even though we do not root for the same teams, because I see Drew up in here. I see Drew in the house, who's on the channel, getting in it with Walker Wade. You know, they're taking shots and things at each other, you know, and all that. That we can be friends. We can be friends. We can be family and treat each other with some respect. You know what I'm saying? Because, see, this is my upbringing in football, because I've said this story before. Some of y'all have heard it. Some of you haven't. What's up, Game Time? West Virginia country boy, shout out to you, becoming a channel member. Any channel members, new channel memberships, or any super chats, the super chats from last night's game and yesterday's live stream, we're putting all those together, and I have an autographed Randy White t-shirt. Okay, Randy White. It's one of my old Jobu Black Sheep shirts. I found it today hanging up when I was looking for my John Ridgway jersey. I got so much autograph stuff in here, I don't even remember what I have, but we're going to give that one away tonight in celebration of going to training camp. But see, here's the thing. I'm old. I'm really old, everybody, okay? I want you to understand that. And when I say that, I'm not saying that trying to disrespect myself. When I say I'm old, that means I have seen a lot of things in my life. I remember when they landed on the moon, okay? I remember that. I remember when Vietnam War, when the helicopters were up on top of there taking people away as Vietnam collapsed, you know, and things like that. I remember them shooting at President Ford. 3 times they tried to assassinate him. West Virginia, he's trying to stuff the ballot box tonight. Do I have more? Oh my goodness, I got to get more here. West Virginia country. Shout out to West Virginia country. I remember a lot of different things. And see, one of the things I remember was growing up here in the Washington, D.C. suburbs with my dad, who was a Dallas Cowboy fan. I know a lot of y'all will say, you just a bandwagon fan. You just following the Cowboys because it's popular. Bro, when I started following the Dallas Cowboys, I was a snot-nosed little kid sitting on the sofa looking up and admiring my father and wanting to be like him. I didn't know what the hell football was, but I knew that the greatest person in my life, the greatest man and influence of my life, he liked the Cowboys, so I liked the Cowboys. And that started. What's up, Roland's Review? Shout out to Roland's Review. What was cool back then was the amount of trash talk, because all my uncles and cousins and all, they were all Washington fans. And we had the telephone with the dial and shit on it, right? No caller ID, right? No call waiting. And I had my aunt that my dad took care of. Every day he went up there to take care of her and everything else. And so, because she was widowed and she was elderly. So you always had to answer the phone, because you never knew if it was Aunt Mabel calling, because she needed something. So, and also too, you couldn't tie up the phone either. So if you're trying to, Mac talk to a girl and things, don't be on that phone too long. And you also had to make sure it wasn't more than about 30 miles away, because then it was going to be a long distance call and it was going to cost more money. Okay. So all these things. But when the Cowboys and Washington played and the Cowboys lost, man, they would call up, where your daddy at? Where your daddy at? Because my uncles, they always smoke cigars. They had that drastic voice. And they call up, they talk to me, yo, Cowboys are terrible, they're sorry, this, that, and the other. Where's my money? Because they were always betting. And for me, the trash talking like I had yesterday with Drew, or that I have with Leo and things like that, or Philly 500, that brings me back to being a little kid. And see, there's nothing wrong with trash talking like that to friends. And this is the difference that people don't seem to understand here on the channel, is they come in here not understanding the difference of talking trash about your teams and respecting each other. They just come in here with stupid shit that is personal attacks. And we're not doing that. We have people here who are here because they love football, they love to talk, and it's like we're hanging out with our friends. And we don't need no snot-nosed little brat that's coming in here to show his ass. Go sit your ass down at the kiddie table. So, we're here. We got Dallas Cowboys training camp going on, and I'm going to say we have to be careful what we hear, what we see. Because, see, right now it's the AI era. First of all, it's so easy for somebody to make something that creates a narrative that they want to give to you. Logan's Motorsports. I love talking trash, but I have respect for everybody. Shout out to Logan Motorsports, another one of those Eagle fans. And if Leo's in the house, let Leo know we started the process on our chicken. We got the Eagles jersey color. I got to put numbers on it, okay? Okay, yeah. Okay, so be careful what you hear and what you see, because a lot of things are there to set a narrative to get you to watch. Speaking of that, can we have a moment of silence for one Skip Bayless, who has left the building and is no longer with a major network? And I know how sad everybody is about this. And, let's have that moment of silence. Yes, probably the best news to happen for Dallas Cowboys is Skip Bayless is done. He's out of here. He is gone. He is history. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Now, I'm not cheering for a person to lose their career. He's had he's made a lot of money. He's famous. He created, him and Stephen A. Smith created what is now the trash talking shows, after copying PTI, of course. PTI is the original. And north of the border, I got your email, buddy. I know exactly what you want, bro. I know what you want. Just tell me what you want. I think what you want is one of these. Okay? This is last year's. 2 years ago. This is 2 years ago. And I'll work on getting some more this year. You only get one when you get your True Blue card, so I'd have to buy a couple of them to get them there, but I'll get you one, and we'll send it to Canada, even though Canada now costs us more money. YouTube's taking money for advertising in Canada so they can make money. I don't understand it. But I got you covered. Dem Boys Kicks, what's up? Michael Anthony Gig Economy, what's going on? Who now got his LLC. Proud of you, son. Derek Young in here. Bry Guy 75. What's up? So we have Dak Prescott seemingly firing shots back at the Cowboys. And it seems like Dak Prescott, he's okay with the breakup. It seems like he is accepted the fact that this may not be. I was hearing Mike Farello, of course. I don't know how much you want to take from Mike Farello, because it's Mike Farello, but he was actually making the number even higher. He was talking $70 million that he could get as a free agent. 70 million. I'm like, bro, that's ooh. But then again, that might be a possibility now that the NFL lawsuit, them being sued for Sunday Ticket, has been overturned, and now the teams don't have that. To me, that just opens up the door for them to go ahead and turn us upside down and shake even more money out of us. Look for more and more more and more apps to be getting games. And if you're an Eagle fan that's not in Philadelphia, you do realize if you want to see the Friday night game in Brazil, and that goes for anybody, you got to have Paramount TV. It's not going to be on ESPN or NBC or ABC or ESPN. It's going to be in Paramount. They are literally, oh, I forgot. And Christmas game is on. What is Christmas? There's so many damn ones I can't remember. Netflix. I forgot. That's the one I've been forgetting. Netflix for Christmas games. So they are literally spreading it out to make you buy all these packages, in which case they're getting kicked back more money, which is great for the players because the salary cap will continue to go up. So here's an interesting piece where Troy Aikman used to talk about Dak Prescott and say accuracy, either you're born with it or you don't have it, who used to be out on Dak Prescott. Seemingly,
another guy that probably doesn't get talked about in that same light because he hasn't had the same success in the postseason is a guy who I'm very fond of right here in Dallas, and that's Dak Prescott. What I respect so much about Dak, one is he's a great leader. He's a great person, but he's an old school guy in that he doesn't care about anything but winning. And it frustrates him beyond imagination that they haven't had more success in the postseason. And it's the only thing that's keeping him from really being mentioned with Pat Mahomes and some of the other greats.
I would love to see, how Dak responds to everything that is said about him. If he is only determined and driven by winning whenever they lose, because it gets so loud.
Yeah.
So loud. And it's always like, Stephen A, obviously, and the Dallas Cowboys fans have the relation that he has. And he's had, the highest rated television show in sports for like the last 11 years. One of his big angles, one of his actual, one of his things is like, Dak's going to blow it. Dak's going to blow it. So Dak works his ass off, just driven by winning only. And all he hears all year is he's going to blow it. Think about the amount of fuck you Dak has to have for everybody then. And then for it not to work out again and again. What if he breaks through, huh? What if Dak Prescott breaks through? Feels like it's a lame duck year down there, though, doesn't it? Hey.
Well, it does.
Doesn't it?
If he breaks through this year, I do believe he's going to be the first quarterback to $60 million. And
from Jerry or somewhere else?
Well, that's the question, and the longer this goes, the more I think he will be playing somewhere else. I just if it continues to drag on and he plays great, and then the Cowboys come in late to say, hey, now we want to pay you. I don't know. I don't know where his head will be at that point, but so he. When you look at the numbers, if you didn't have the names and you just looked at stats, and again, I go back to I don't care about stats. I just want to see wins. But wins included, you would put Dak Prescott's numbers over the last couple of years along with Patrick Mahomes's. But it's what's happened in the postseason that has separated those two. And so that's where the whole organization has to be better. This isn't just on Dak Prescott. This goes back for the last 25, 30 years, that the Cowboys just have failed to play their best football when the games have mattered most in January.
There you go. There you have it. And that's where I have to say, as Teddy Bruschi was sitting here saying that, the players have to make plays, and that's true. The players have to make plays. But if you're asking somebody to do something more than is capable, that's the thing. Because you could look through and you could say, well, shit, San Francisco, they paid a boatload of money for a hell of a lot of guys. And they didn't win the Super Bowl. Because when I look at it and say, yeah, we didn't stop the run. We didn't stop the run. We were relying on Mazi Smith, who was a rookie on the defensive line, who didn't seem to get the right coaching. We were relying on Marquez Bell, who was 207 pounds, a safety, and we're playing nickel coverage to try and stop the run. I don't care what you say about the players have to make plays, I don't see a 207-pound safety playing linebacker that's the best that you got, and that you're going to put that on him. At some point, you also have to look at it and say, the Cowboys, if they were winning Super Bowls on a regular and going to NFC Championship games on a regular before Dak Prescott or without Dak Prescott, then I'd say, yeah, it's Dak Prescott. But you've got a 30-year track record of ineptitude and failures. Unfortunately, everybody's looking at you, Dak Prescott, and saying, you are what is holding the Dallas Cowboys back, even though you weren't part of it for the 30 years. I can look and say, winning 12 games in a row, 3 years in a row. I don't know that there's many teams in the NFL that have done that. I get it. People are saying you're satisfied with regular season wins. I'm not. But to at first do anything in the playoffs, you have to at least get to the playoffs. And if you're telling me that the Dallas Cowboys should tear it up, rip it up, and start all over, then that means they're going to have to go out there and spend money on bringing in others to make the team and rebuild it. Because if we're talking about ripping it up and saying, we're just going to do it from the draft, let CD go, let Dak go, we'll hold on to Micah, but we're not going to pay him either. You're going to have to draft those guys. And you're going to have to wait for those guys and hope that you draft the right ones. But I'm going to say the Cowboys, and looking at their quarterback Suave is not good. They did great with Troy Aikman when you had Jimmy Johnson here. But they drafted Quincy Carter. How'd that work out? They thought Johnny Manziel was the guy. Yeah, Johnny Manziel. They didn't want Dak Prescott. They wanted Paxton Lynch. And when they failed on the trade to move up to get Paxton Lynch, they wanted Connor Cook. I don't know that Connor Cook threw any passes in the NFL. So you want to get rid of him. And not to mention Trey Lance. If they gave up a 4th-round trade for Trey. At the moment, he had a nice deep pass today. Nice deep pass, because let's be fair and balanced with all of the news on here, okay? Because here's the other problem that I have. What you have out here is rumors where people are just trashing Mazi Smith. Oh, Mazi Smith looks terrible. And I tell you what it reminds me of was, I remember 8 years ago, I remember sending a Twitter message to Mike Fisher. At that point, Mike Fisher didn't know who I was. I was, only a YouTuber, just a YouTuber with about 300 subscribers or so on there. And I sent that message to him and asked, how is Dak Prescott looking in training camp? Because I was probably the first person to actually get a Dak Prescott jersey. And I'll be honest with you all. You all say, well, you love Dak Prescott. Well, this channel started mainly because of a video that I did about Dak Prescott. And that was, I said, draft Dak Prescott because he's a perfect quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And from that, we finally got people to start watching when Tony Romo got hurt. But I remember sending that text message to Mike Fisher and saying, how's Dak Prescott looking? He's like very slow on reads. He'll be lucky to make the roster. Okay. So we had that. So what I've been hearing is people talking about Mazi. And while I was doing a video earlier today talking about Mazi, my buddy Law Nation called. Nothing but the best. He's like, where are you, man? I said, I'm not there till Sunday. And then so I was like, oh man, he said, I thought you were already here. I said, nah, I wish I were, man, but I gotta pay bills, so I gotta do my day job first. And he started telling me that the crowds ain't there. He said, remember how it used to be shoulder to shoulder? He's like, you got all kinds of space out here, you know. You basically would think it was like COVID in 2020 or something. But the crowds aren't there. And I asked him how Mazi was doing. And he said, well, this other guy over here said he didn't look that good and this, that, and the other. I watched a couple of videos where people are saying, Mazi's not looking that good. The first thing I have to ask is, do you know what you're looking at? Do you know what you're looking at? Now, I can't say I've seen every single play of Mazi Smith in training camp. And this is where you get selectively, people will show a video clip. And that video clip may be the worst play that they have all in training camp, or it might be the best play that they have in training camp. Dennis Houston, one-handed catch in the end zone. Everybody thought he was going to be Odell Beckham Jr. But turns out the rest of the camp wasn't real good. So you have to look at the totality and also understand, what are they doing? Is this an offensive drill where he's playing scout team? Is this one-on-one? Is this trying to teach, a new technique or getting to do something they haven't done before? You're going to see good things and bad things at camp. And if you focus only on one thing, you're not getting the whole picture. And so you had Mike Zimmer addressing Mazi Smith. And this is what he actually said.
The Athletic. Mike, one thing you said, you wanted to get guys to understand what they're doing, but Micah said something that really has impressed him most about you is you always explain why.
Oh, this is the wrong clip. Damn.
Why you want them to do what
Sorry,
they're
this is
doing.
the wrong clip.
Where did that kind of philosophy come in for you, and the way of coaching, and how how have you seen the results of that?
Well, I think that's part of when we meet as a group. I try to explain how this person is doing this affects somebody else, and so on and so forth. And so, it's important. It's important for me that the defensive line just doesn't know pass rush. They need to be able to know what the linebackers are doing. And I used to, a lot of time, I haven't done it yet this year, but I'd ask the defensive end, what's the corner doing cover two? What's the safety do?
Okay. All right. I gave you the wrong one. I'm sorry, because Mike Zimmer was doing a whole lot of talking. Let me get the right one, because I've got to get the tone here correct. Okay. And it's not the video. Okay. Okay. He says, Mazi Smith, what we're asking him to do, he's doing a really good job. You may not see him make a flash play, but we see him taking on double teams, getting his hands in the right place, and I see him understanding where he's supposed to be. He's not going to be a speed rusher by any stretch, because he's 310 pounds. He's a big guy. There's a difference. Micah Parsons is a speed rusher, okay? He's going to have a power rush and push the pocket. But as far as the run game, what I've seen so far, I'm impressed with him. He's doing a really good job. Now he's got to keep it up. I've enjoyed what I've seen with him along with the rest of the defensive line. So for me, I am near and dear to the big guys because that's what I played. And so here's what I did. I was getting what I could practice film wise. Okay. Again, I can't wait to get out there so I can see for myself. Okay. What I want you guys to understand with defensive linemen, you're not going to see big numbers. You're not going to see him dipping and ripping, around the edge like you will Micah Parsons. Okay. You're not going to see him with 14, 15 sacks. That's not what we need him to do. What we need him to do is to be an immovable force in the middle. You are, as I hate to put it like this, you are like a giant turd clogging up the toilet. That's what you are. You don't want anything to get flushed down. You want everything to get backed up because you are the giant turd in the toilet. And what I see with Mazi Smith, and the key thing in football, whether you're a running back, an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, is keeping your shoulders square to the line. That you are running and keeping that, and that you're keeping your feet moving, and that you are the low man, because the low man wins. Now, I watched a video of a guy who was literally I'm out on Mazi Smith, man. They need to cut him or get rid of him and this, that, and the other. When we've already heard Mike Zimmer basically say he was ill-coached and we're basically starting all over with him. People, you're too quick You're too quick to get. Yeah, that's right. Philly D, I'm mad as hell. What I felt like saying to that dude, honestly, when I heard him say, I'm out on Mazi Smith, it's like, do you know anything about defensive line? Have you played the position? As you're going out there and trashing a person, do you know what the hell you're talking about? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. And unfortunately, you get a lot of people that are out here that are going on hearsay and this, that, the other, and may not actually know, may not have actually been in there to understand what it's like to take on a double team. To understand what it's like to get cut at the knees while you're being engaged by the center. To understand that you have every freaking muscle in your body, ones you don't even know about, that are hurting because you've gotten hit every inch of your body. And what I want to say to people who don't know shit is,
shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
That's how I felt. Forgive me. I know, Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but that's the perfect clip. That's the perfect clip for some of those people, okay? Because that's literally how it is sometimes when people look at stuff. Now, when I look at, and this is just, like I said, there's not but so much. People aren't really focusing in on the defensive linemen so much. You know, you're out there, you're seeing where Trey Lance throws a bad pass to the linebacker and everything else, and nobody's there. Okay, maybe that was a misread by the wide receiver. Maybe it was a misread by the wide receiver. It could be. Maybe it was just a bad play by Trey Lance. But that's not the totality. He's not throwing an interception every single play. I'm not saying that he was great. I'm not saying he was bad. All I'm saying is we sitting here and we talking about
we sitting here
practice.
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice.
That's what we're talking about.
Listen, we're talking
about practice.
Not a game.
Not the game.
Not a game.
We're talking about practice. But here's what I see. Let's go to the tape. Okay. Now on this play, it's not real clear. Forget this one. But what you'll see is, okay, I don't know if you guys can see this. In fact, let me change it up. I will do it this way. We will put this on the screen here. Because this is what you have to understand. Mazi is 58, okay? Mazi is going to take on a double team. And see, here's the thing. When I was light in the ass, when I had to take on a double team, I couldn't hold up in the middle. Right now, if you look at it, in the middle of the screen, right now, Mazi is in the middle of two guys. And what I want you to understand here is, because I'm going to tell you, I'm trying to educate you something. If you see what he is doing, when you take on the double team, your job is to hold ground. What you are taught is split the double team. So he turns his shoulders to give the two guys a small target, and he rides them on the line. He's got two guys on him, and he's holding the line. He's not giving up ground. He's not getting put back in the linebacker, and the other player is not able to get to the guard. Look at that. And he's driving right down the line to where the ball carrier is. That, my friends, is textbook of what you want taking on a double team. Okay? Okay, on this one, you see him. He's working. Again, he's not going to be a guy that's going to run past people. He's going against Tyler Smith. Now here, this is perfect. You'll see him. Right there, his butt is right there, but big brother man's big head. You'll see him with his shoulders squared up on the line, and he is basically, the guard is trying to hook him, and he's fighting pressure. He's locking out the arm, and he is riding him down the line without giving up any ground. And he's right there where the running back is. Right there. Watch it again. Watch it again. Boom. gets his hands on him, extends, keeps his feet moving, and he's sliding down the line to find the running back. Right there. Right there. Mean Mug, what's up? Salute to you, buddy. Boom. Look at him. He's in there. He's got strength. He's got power. Look at that. So what I'm trying to say is, because what I heard this person saying, I hear Mazi Smith is on the ground all the time. He's out of this and he's out doing that and everything, and he's a wasted pick. Well, I tell you what, good people. I tell you what. Some of y'all really just need to
shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
Tiara, what's up, Tiara? Welcome. I think the dude needs to play more to catch up to the speed of the game. You are very, very right on that, D'Angelo Evans. And Phil Ford 2420. I guess you like the weed. Can I shout out my friend Frank J? Okay, what's up, Frank J? Plug the hole, nicely done. So, and I'm not, okay, now let me be clear. Let me be clear here, because I'm not there. I'm not watching every single play. I'm only getting a taste of what I'm seeing here on these clips right now. On Monday, I can judge for myself. And especially on Thursday when they're scrimmaging against or practicing against the Rams, you know that's going to be about as live as it gets. Then we can really see where the rubber meets the road, because now you're practicing against your guys. You got camp legs right now because this is the third padded practice and things like that. But what I'm saying is sometimes people don't understand what they're seeing. Because I can say, if you have never played nose guard or interior defensive line, what you're actually taught, or at least we were taught, when you're facing a double team, what you're doing is you're going to try and split the double team. You're going to drop the anchor and basically get on the ground. I know that sounds crazy to you, but here's the thing. If you're on the ground, they can't move you. They can't move you. If you're up high and you got two guys pushing against you, you got 600 pounds of meat, you're getting blown out of the hole. Your job is to hold the line. Hold that spot. In pass rushing, if you can penetrate a yard, 2 yards, we're good. Just don't leave the middle wide open. And what I've seen thus far from training camp, in my mind, Mazi is a much better player than he was last year. And understand that Mike Zimmer is going through and he's educating him on what he needs for the defense. We're in a transition period from Dan Quinn's defense, because Dan Quinn was totally different. When I was there in training camp 2 years ago, basically, Dan Quinn's defense is almost like you've got edge rushers across the board. You've got guys that are fast and physical that can shoot the gaps and get upfield to get after the quarterback. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong. What's up, Cody Show? Shout out to you. Look, nice show there with Game Time Brian. I'm not saying that is right or wrong as far as his defense goes. The problem I think for Dan Quinn was he didn't have all of the pieces that he wanted to have. I find it hard to believe that Dan Quinn did not want some linebackers, that he was good saying, I'll just have safeties fill in for linebackers. And I think that's one of the reasons why he kind of trashed the Cowboys on the way out, was they didn't have the sense of urgency. And that is the maddening thing with me. Now, before I go any further here, I need to do something real quick, because we are actually sponsored by BetUSA, and shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, okay? When I get some more cash here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that opening deposit there because you want to maximize it because you can put up to $2,000 and they will match it with 125%. So if you put in $2,000, they're going to add an extra $3,025. Is that it? Am I correct on that? I think that's what. No, wait. No, 100. No, that would be 4,000. I can't do the math. I'm going to have to do the math. But either way, I'm going to definitely do that because here's what I want to do. The over and under for Dak Prescott is 4,100.5 yards. Dak Prescott's going over 4,100 yards, especially the way I saw Zeke Elliott look like he was sucking air. But again, it was just one play, or excuse me, one drill where he was bending over on his knees because I saw him make a great catch too. And the touchdown passes are 29.5. I'm taking the over on both of those. In fact, I'm also going to take the over on the Dallas Cowboys having 10.5 wins. So if you do want to join BetUSA, the link is in the description. Definitely check them out. And we're going to also be doing soon $25 giveaways. If you become a member, we'll have about 5 a month that we'll be able to add to your account. So definitely check them out. If you are a gambler, definitely BetUSA is the way to go. Okay, is scrimmage against the Rams on Thursday open to the public? Asman, yes it is. They will be practicing, of course.
We sitting here, that's
part of the reason why I'm going there.
Talking about practice. I mean, listen, we
talking about practice. Yes, the schedule for next week. Now, of course, this week, this year, 2 years when I was there, they had the Monday practice, which was the first padded one. The Tuesday that was padded. It was listed as a scrimmage, but it ended up being a walkthrough, and it only lasted like 30 minutes. And then Thursday, they did a special team practice. This year, it's a little bit different where they're actually doing more practices in a row. I thought before that they couldn't have more than 3 practices in a row, but it seems like they're actually doing that. So Monday, they're off on Sunday. There's practice tomorrow. Okay, practice tomorrow. They're off on Monday. I'm sorry. No. Sorry. They're off on Sunday. They practice on Monday. They practice on Tuesday. They're off on Wednesday. They practice with the Rams on Thursday. And then they'll have a practice on Friday. I'm betting the practice on Friday will be a walkthrough. I bet you because they're playing the game on Sunday. But that will be... that's the reason why I wanted to go this week, because I looked at it and I said, I'm going to get the biggest bang for my buck. California ain't cheap, bro. California ain't cheap. Between the car rental, the gasoline, the hotels, the food, and everything else, it costs a good chunk of change, but I want to bring that to you guys. And I wanted to maximize being there. You know, if they're practicing against the Rams, that is literally going to be very lively. We've seen fights in the past and everything else. And right now, you've been practicing against your own guys. You're tired of facing them and stuff. You want to get some different looks, and that practice will be key. In fact, what I will say is that is going to be the future of what NFL's training camp and preseason will be. As the NFL, and believe me, before the next collective bargaining agreement happens, the NFL will have 18 games. They're already talking to the NFLPA about it, and they seem to be both on the same page. You may end up seeing one or two preseason games at most, but what you may start seeing more of is teams practicing against each other and getting their scrimmages that way. The Rams, I will say, are probably doing it the right way because basically they're having a practice against each team that they're playing. They're having 3 practices against other teams getting ready for the season. From what I'm hearing, Donald was not better in camp. Donald who? Dude was traded to avoid more of the distraction at quarterback than anything else. Who are we talking about? Purdy came in and took off. I wouldn't change him either. Was Lance the starter before having a season injury? Lance, you're talking about Trey Lance. Okay, Trey Lance has basically started, I think, about 4 games. And he's had injury issues going forward with the San Francisco 49ers and not exactly a lot of great numbers. I hate to say that, and people have been, of course, on the bandwagon of saying the Cowboys got him to make sure that they put pressure on Dak Prescott. Right now, I don't know that Trey Lance is putting pressure on Cooper Rush. And I'm not trying to say this because I know what people will say is, you're just a Dak Prescott fanboy. You're not going to give the guy a chance. I hope that Trey Lance can be really, really good. Because if Dak goes down, I want somebody to help save the season. I also want to say we didn't waste a 4th-round pick. Not when we had so many running backs that we could have gotten and brought in here to help the team make it better. Does Lance get cut? Oh, I don't think he gets cut. There's no way that Lance is going to get cut because the Cowboys would have to admit that they screwed the pooch. I think he still makes the team because, when you see quarterbacks that go around the league that are still getting jobs that haven't been able to play, that is a premium. And that's one of those ones you can look at and say, Andy Dalton is still playing. Y'all realize that, right? I think he's injured right now. I can't remember who he's playing for, but he's still there. Tierra, you are 100% right. Cooper Rush has been solid at camp. And he always has been. What you get with Cooper Rush is, you're exactly right. He's steady. He's not going to get a big bump up. He's not going to get the lows. He is steady. Trey's had his best day today. And that's the thing is, we're still early in camp. There's still time to turn around. And some guys are not practice guys. They're gamers. So we'll find out more next Sunday in the preseason game. Trey had the best highlight of the day. Yes, he did. Lance will get better. He's got nowhere to go but up. What if Lance can be the Nick Foles? That would be better than any running back. I'm not going to quite go there because that's saying that you're losing your starting quarterback. And I don't know that I want to lose my starting quarterback to have Trey Lance. Trey's going to get a lot of work in preseason. He really is. So we'll get a chance to see what he looks like. The only thing about him getting a lot of work in training camp is that at the cost of Cooper Rush being ready if Dak goes down. Rush did a good job when he played, but Lance does have all the tools. Philly D, the funny thing is there's a lot of guys that have the tools. There's a lot of guys that have the tools, but for whatever reason, they can't put it together. You may remember, and this is going back, but between Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, they said Peyton Manning was the more polished quarterback. But they talked about Ryan Leaf with the big arm and him having a bigger upside. How'd that work out? He had all the tools. He had the arm. He didn't have it up here. Or a guy like Jeff George, who had a cannon for an arm, didn't have the leadership quality. There's a lot of guys out there that have the tools, but can they maximize it? And what happens with a lot of guys, I will say, they play on a team in college that's a really good team. And see, this is where the Eagles are finding out some things about some of the players they drafted on their defense. They swore that Nakobe Dean was incredible. Oh my God, Nakobe Dean, right? He benefited from being on a great team with a lot of great players around him. And see, the NFL is different because now everybody, even teams that have bad players, have probably better players than what you played against in college for the most part. And so when you get out in the NFL, instead of you being the big fish in the little pond, you're just a minnow swimming in the ocean with all these other big fish. And the speed is that much faster. And so we always talk about, oh, this guy's got potential. He's got a high ceiling. I constantly hear how, Trevor Lawrence has got a higher ceiling than Dak Prescott. How do we know Dak's reached his ceiling? And I'm going to say his ceiling, 36, 37 TDs, runner-up MVP. That ain't a bad ceiling. The jury is still out. I don't know that the jury's coming back on the Kobe Dean there, Drew. Come on now. Come on, Drew. He has a problem staying healthy, and he's undersized. You know, I remember Philly 500 last year saying that he has the opportunity to lead the team in tackles, and he could be an all-pro. And I said to him, bro, the Kobe, nah, he ain't that dude, man. He ain't that dude. Sorry. Having the tools means nothing if you're slow to mentally processing. Amen on that. Tierra, you're hitting dimes tonight. Josh Allen has a cannon for arm, but he is reckless at you. Wow. Shout out Tierra. Tierra knows her shit. They ain't slow. The dude ain't take a snap in a whole year in his first camp with us. Okay. All right. I hear what you're saying, Xavier. I hear what you're saying. But he's been in the system now almost a year, and we're going through training camp, and here it is. At the moment, he's not looking like he's picking it up. I'm going to say, Xavier, Dak Prescott started out as the fourth-string quarterback in OTAs. Fourth-string quarterback in OTAs. He only got his chance because Cooper Rush got injured to actually get playing time in preseason. He picked it up and led the team to a 13-3 record. So I'm just saying, you know, I get it. Sometimes guys mature later on and so on. But so far, brother has been in the league a long time. This is his fourth season. And he's had a problem staying healthy and on a team that was loaded with great coaching staff that gave up a lot for him. For them to say, you know what, we don't care if our heads roll after giving up 3 number ones for him, we got to get rid of this guy. Sorry. I'm not ready to say he's going to be that guy. Facts, the speed is crazy. The NFC West plays very fast compared to the East. Yes, I've heard that too, Philly D, Derek Young, Jeff George. Oh, nobody liked Jeff George. He was a prick. He really was. The over-under for pancake blocks for Cooper Rush this season is 8.5. Well, the question will be, though, Ryan, is will Cooper Beebe see the field? I want to see him see the field, but he's still transitioning to becoming a center. And if you remember Connor Williams, back when he was with the Cowboys a few years ago, they were working him at center, and Connor Williams was having a rough time snapping the ball consistently, right? But when he went to Miami, he ended up playing center, getting more work at it, and became a really good center. And unfortunately tore his ACL up, but now I think Buffalo signed him. I think he's with Buffalo. But became a really good center. But understand, transitioning from guard to center, if you never snapped the football, it is very, very different than just being a guard. And it is key, because if you have one bad snap and it's over the quarterback's head, that's a game changer. Drew, I think 2014 was better. Anyone know any good fantasy football programs to get involved with? Actually, we have Ginger. We actually have a Joe Booze fantasy football. Troy Daniels is not here, but I'll make sure I get you the link. I'll email it to you for our fantasy league. So if you want to join in, because I know we still have a few spaces left. Tierra, it's not that he'll win another playoff game. Can he win with the franchise? It's not the norm that quarterbacks do. That is big. And you know what, Drew? You are 100% right. Is can the Cowboys with Dak Prescott win? The problem is, I don't think the problem is Dak Prescott. People can say, I'm just trying to save Dak and everything else. I'm not trying to save Dak, but I'm putting it out there that if the Cowboys want to win one, it's on the Cowboys. They got to do something that they don't want to do, and that's spend more money. We heard about the Rams that, it drove me crazy when the Rams won the Super Bowl, and the very next offseason, Here's Stephen Jones saying, we don't think that what the Rams way they build a team is the right way to build a team. And it's like, bro, you know they just won the Super Bowl, right? And people said they were going to be in cap hell. Ronald Davis, what's up? How are you doing? I'm going great, man. I'm excited because the day after tomorrow, I'll be in Oxnard. I'm great, man. I'm living the dream. But here we are with the Rams. 2 years later, when everybody said they're going to be in cap hell, signing people in the playoffs last year and more cap room than us. So the question is, what the hell are the Cowboys doing? Because what they're doing, it don't seem to be the same as what everybody else is doing. And nobody is winning Super Bowls right now the way the Cowboys are. Just not. So, friends, that's it. It is 10 o'clock. Our hour is up. It is done. And we are getting ready to get our ass out of here. Shout out to BetUSA. Definitely check them out. The link is in the description. We appreciate them. And it is time to turn off the lights because this party's over. We will be doing our live stream tomorrow night at 5 o'clock for the members call-in. Because Sunday will be a crazy, crazy day. I'll be hopping on the jet plane early in the morning and getting on to Oxnard and doing a whole bunch of things. So it'll be difficult to do it on Sunday. I probably will do a live stream Sunday evening in Oxnard at the hotel and stuff. But I got to remember that they're 3 hours different than we are here. So if I do it at 6, it's actually 9 here. So if I do it 9 there, it's midnight here. So I'll get it figured out. But it's always good, people. I appreciate y'all. And we will give away the Joe Boo autograph shirt, Randy White, tomorrow evening at our live stream. I appreciate you guys, even you Eagle fans, because I tell you what, I have to say, I don't know that anybody got put in timeout tonight. I don't think anybody, this was actually, oh my Lord. I will check my email, Bry Guy 75. Shout out to you guys. Nobody acted a fool tonight. As always, I appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.